Welcome to my artist studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. I gotta go finish this painting, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Up to Freedom, wherever you are joining us. It could be YouTube, Facebook, Lindell TV, or WVW TV, standing for World View Weekend TV. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Your comments will be appreciated. We will engage. If you have any questions, any comments, any suggestions, feel free to put them on the comment section. And I know Facebook and YouTube is the easiest comment section, so I do apologize for Lindell TV and WVW, as you may not get to put many comments in. How's it going, Michael? I heard you're getting a little sniffly too.
Yeah, I might be catching the plague. Maybe this is a computer virus and it's coming to me through the camera. Yeah, other than that,
Zuckerberg did it.
exactly. It's all a conspiracy. Maybe we are in the Matrix.
Maybe we are. But no, on a serious note, I really hope it is not the flu that's going around. But if it is, I'll tell you what, hot tea is your best friend. It literally calms the coughing down. At least it worked for me. So just buy a lot of tea and just drink a lot of hot tea.
Oh, I'm on that. I've already been drinking it today and trying to drink juice, vitamin C. I took zinc earlier. Anything I can to beat this before it starts.
Good, good. You're definitely smarter than me. Okay, so before I forget, please do share this stream wherever you're watching it from, so you can get your friends, family, those who are in your network to join us. That would be lovely. And let's go over the lower third real quick, 'cause I feel like I need to. There's a lower third. Everything on it is different ways that you could be supporting us, either mystore.com, mypillow.com, using promo code AC21, or you can go to my artist store. LUTFstudio.com. Someone told me I should mention, if you go in there's not an item you like, that's all right. You can always favorite the shop. As I post or list more items, you get a notification a new item was listed, so you might come to see something you like. And you can use the promo code Frank on my artist store, lutfstudio.com. And general website is liveuptofreedom.com. Before we get to the topic that we want to talk about, we are having another I told you so topics tonight. You can see the smile
Yeah.
on my face. But before we go there, yesterday we had a comment that was close to the end of the show, so I didn't catch it to answer then. It was on Lindell TV by Right On. And the question was, he wants to know what is there we can do, because I did mention yesterday that there's a lot to be done, and we need to take action. So he asked for details. Here's my personal opinion, or actions at least I am taking. A few of them that I'm taking is, first of all, as you know, I'm out here screaming almost every night, every day, every morning, every afternoon, all day long. So it's called vocalizing your concern. When there's enough people, one of the reasons that Uniparty, Red Green Axis, Unholy Alliance, whatever you call it, globalists, one of the reasons they are where they are today is because they repeated their lies in a quantity of enough echoed voices to where it became the reality of our lives. Some of us didn't buy into it, but majority of people did. Something you said, Michael, yesterday was like, don't look at McCarthy being a speaker as a victory just because the TV tells you it's a victory. So we're
Yeah.
going to reverse engineer their own psychological war. We got to be vocal. We got to be repeatedly talking about it. And I understand there's censorship, but there are other platforms that are not censoring our voices. So go there. I understand it's hard to move from a platform you're used to and you're comfortable with. I am, but we gotta have to do it. There's, I think, Gather, Truth, Rumble, Brighteon, Frank Social. There are platforms that we can be vocal. We just need to echo our concern. That's one thing I do. I post all day long, or I do. I'm on air with either you, my own show, other people's show. The other thing I've been doing is I am absolutely stubborn, and I am knowing my representatives and other representatives. Oh, I have surpassed my own estate. I'm calling everybody now. Like, I'm
Yeah,
literally calling everyone with the same line I have written for myself, and I'm just like repeating it, and then I'm emailing it nonstop. Because remember, we just keep saying we the people, but we don't do the we the people. Therefore, it's kind of sort of just a threat that's empty threats. But as soon as they do see enough people are picking up the phone and putting that minute a day time into it, they will have no choice but to do actually make a difference or make changes. Sorry. Last thing I will say specifically, right on, you asked about the election. What do we do so it doesn't keep the same pattern? You will stop trying to fix this on a federal level. Stop it. This is not a federal level issue. This is not. It was manipulated and funded by federal level, but it is absolutely controlled by state level. So you're gonna start going to your state level of representatives, from your governor to your mayor, representatives in the states. Go after them. Demand the change. Bring paperwork. Show them the Constitution. Show them the legal terms. If you can't, write to help me out here with his name. The lawyer Tom Renz.
oh
Write
yeah,
to
Tom Renz,
Tom
yes.
Renz, and he will guide you on where to go, what to say, all of that. But you gotta stop holding on like we're like strangling the federal government, where it has nothing to do with them. It doesn't. It's the state level. So get
Yeah.
active on your state level. Go ahead.
Well, I think this is something too that it is another example of kind of a long-term media lie that's been repeated so much. The power for our elections is not determined at the federal level. It is determined by your state legislature. So you have to get involved locally, pressure your representatives at the state level to do the things that you want them to do, to bring forth these different bills. If you like the way Florida handles their elections, emulate their plan. If you like the way another state that had cleaner or fairer elections, if you want your voter rolls audited and all the dead people and people don't live in the state anymore taken off, pressure people into do that. Also get involved with your local parties. Most of them have unfilled seats just sitting vacant. They're waiting for people to come in and get involved. And if enough people do this, again, you're going to put pressure on the right people, or you're going to take over the organization where people that are like minded will then be able to set the agenda going forward. But putting enough pressure on them will get them to do things differently. To touch on one other thing you said, about being consistent and telling the truth. You do get through to people that way eventually, even on social media. I just recently had somebody, I've been posting stuff about, various topics for a long time, but I finally had somebody look into something I said. They were trying to prove me wrong initially, and then they started digging into it. They realized these facts, these reports and surveys and studies that I'd been citing, like these were legitimate. They just aren't being reported by our media here in the news.
Exactly. So these are the very, I understand absolutely. By the way, before I say that, do we have anyone with us? Because I saw one comment coming from Karen. Hi, Karen, and then nothing. So I don't know if we're having glitch again. We might need to change platform. I mean, the software, Michael.
Yeah,
As
I saw
this
it blip in and
software.
out. It blipped in and out on me, which is what it did the other day when it froze. So I don't know. It might not be responding, but if
Well,
somebody
I
could
just
just
wanted
post
to say
hello.
this. So if you're not saying anything, that's because we're not seeing your comments. But if you're not making a comment, um, then it's okay. You're just not making any comments.
Yeah,
Um, Karen, that's a very good point. She said, I don't think there is anyone in Michigan working for us. Well, unfortunately, as you know, Michigan is definitely one of the conquered states. But I don't think there's anyone working for anyone anywhere at this point. Like,
very few.
it's bad to say, but if it makes you feel any better, Karen, nobody's working for us here in Nebraska. Nobody's working for anybody in Ohio or Tennessee or um, California, or I'm running out of things to say, but in no
Yeah,
states. Like you could say Florida, yes. Uh, Florida,
yeah. I mean,
you got DeSantis, who's, and he's under heavy attack. I'm not, and I want to say this is not an endorsement. I do believe in few events in last year, DeSantis has definitely not been on the right side of the things. But as a governor of a state, he's doing great for his people. But I wish you would just kind of close the door because it seems like everybody's going to Florida now. I'm like, oh, okay, soon Florida will be California. But
Yeah,
yes, it's not that nobody's working for us because we're not making him work for us. The simple example I always use is, your boss is not gonna, like, if you don't do your job, your boss is gonna come and pretty much give you one ultimatum. You don't get your things together, you're fired. You
yep,
can't expect them to just automatically work for us. Unfortunately, our government has gone way too big for what it was intended for and too corrupt. So we have to make them for work for us, and that's what me and Michael are saying. We got to get more involved so we can force their hands to work for us. Go ahead, Michael.
yeah, and keep in mind, like our individual voices are competing against the lobbyists and the special interests and the money that they need for their campaign. So it takes a lot of us to make an impact, but probably not as many as you think. I've cited this over and over again. To make a company change their advertising policy and drop sponsorships, it takes an average of 150 to 200 phone calls to that company's headquarters. These things do make an impact, but we have to do them consistently. I have a couple of alarms set on my phone that throughout the week I call my rep here, Warren Davidson, and I call some other people around the state that are my representatives here in Ohio, and I let them know what I'm thinking. I either encourage them if they're doing well, or demand action if they've promised something that hasn't been done yet.
Yes, that's the thing. We got to take some time out as a business owner, a small business owner. I can tell you, you can't just open the business and walk away. You got to spend time, pay attention, keep records of everything. Otherwise, the business will fall apart. This is the same. All of us, we the people, own this business called government. So we all have to put in the time. Okay, let's move on to. I did want to address right on's question for sure.
Sure,
Um, okay, so let's watch the video, Michael, and then come back and talk about it. How's that? Guys, let's take a
that
look
sounds
at
good to
this
me.
like a minute 20-second video, and then we come back and talk about it. For those of you who don't know what is, SEPA is IRGC. The last logo coming on the screen and the name of the telegram, by the way, I left that on because I want you to. Well, it would be very hard for you to go find their channel and understand what they're saying in there because it's all Farsi.
Yeah,
But it is SEPA, SEPA It's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So that video was released by IRGC um, on the 8th of January on their direct Telegram channel, verified channel. That's not some made up. Yes, I know. I mean, who would go follow their channel on Telegram giving themselves up? Apparently, I do. That's all right. That's besides the point. They have released this video on January 8th. Original threat against President Trump was released on January 9th of 2022. If you
yeah,
all recall, I broke the news back then. Now, um, this one's out, and they have. Here's what I will say. Uh, so I'll say this, and then Michael, you gotta put your comment into it. But the fact that they're making threat does not surprise me whatsoever. The fact that they will not give this up until they take their revenge is just the way IRGC is. No, none of it is a wow factor for me. What is embarrassing for me as an American is the fact that in a matter of 2 years, they have they have got so bluntly, I need a polite name here for it. Help me out here.
They're so bold. They
Bold, for lack of a better term, that they have not only
yeah.
expanded the list from just President Trump to so many other names, they're putting them in their location on their video. Now they're
Mhm.
even saying they will pick when and how. And you saw
Yeah.
the list of, and by the way, this is a bad joke, but I'm like, I can't wait for the left to see this video and say, see, we need more gun control. There are two different types of gun used in this video.
Yeah.
But yes, it's basically they are so boldened by lack of reaction by Biden regime and extreme support by Biden regime that this is the newest threat released on their Telegram channel.
Yeah, they can go around making threats like this, and we do zero, not a thing. There are no repercussions for them sending direct threats to President Trump, to even one of the left's own. Mark Milley's on that video. I'm sure you guys know he's the ultra woke general that's still serving in the Biden regime. But no repercussions, no, not even talks of it. And if anything, if asked about it, they'll probably say, "Oh, well, we still hope the nuclear deal can go forward." It's just going to be ignored and swept under the rug. But they're obviously planning. They've also expanded it out. I mean, their original threat just showed the drone strike on a golf course, some sort of little, tank drone. This, they're saying they're going to choose the method, they're going to choose the time, and they haven't forgotten. And unfortunately, there's a certain amount of truth to that, because you have somebody that's willing to trade their life to take out another target. There's a good possibility they're going to do it.
Well, here are the few things I'm going to break down here with the few minutes we have left for us to be with our Lendl TV audience. Mark, you made a comment and said, well, he did give the order to drone strike Soleimani, so it doesn't surprise me. I will not say anything. If you could kindly elaborate on what do you mean by, well, he did. Are you saying that it is fair game for them to make threats, or what? If you would elaborate before I address your comment, because I don't want to jump the gun. Sometimes comments can be short and not fully explained. But I'll go back to this. IRGC is officially on a terrorist list. It's just the way it is. It is on a terrorist
Yeah.
list. Okay. However, on so many ends, um, there are so many experts who can testify to that, that they are being imported into America. Many of them are already in America, standing by for green lights
Yep.
to carry out either terror attacks on American people or just a specific targets. The thing is, I don't understand when and how. I do understand. I'm kind of playing this a little, low key. The question is, why are we okay? Are we as Americans? I'll take it even further into why are we Iranian Americans okay? I'm still waiting for my fellow Iranians to, come out and say something as well, even though they're on our streets in America, helping the revolution in Iran. But why are we okay with United States of America directly negotiating with terrorists, bluntly giving them money? And I'm not talking pennies and dimes, we're talking billions of dollars, lifting
Yeah.
sanctions, working with them. Since when? Like, again, IRGC is absolutely bold, and yes, but look how bold Biden regime is, Michael. They are
Yeah.
completely openly negotiating with these people, and they know there will be no consequences for them. You know why? Because there was no consequences for Obama. There
No.
weren't. But when Soleimani was taken out, I remember when I did the live feed on Facebook and told everybody, calm down. Single handedly, Trump has started World War III. What? Calm down. There is no World War III. What I did back then, I said, watch out for our embassies because they're going to try to retaliate by attacking our embassies, which they did. They want to
Yeah.
have to couple our embassies. But when Trump tried to put them in their place, he was attacked. But when Biden enabled them, when Obama enabled them, nobody's saying that's why they're boldened.
No, if anything, they're praised. Biden and Obama are both praised for this nuclear deal, even though, again, it's steps that embolden our enemy and put our safety and the safety of our allies and the people across the Middle East, puts that in jeopardy. It's we're allowing them to continue to expand. We're unlocking funds. We're unlocking avenues for them to raise their own money, dropping these sanctions, allowing them to openly trade with China and Russia. These are all things that embolden them. We're sending exactly the wrong message. And then again, our continued lack of support here in the US for these people bravely fighting for their freedom on the streets of Iran right now. Whereas, even as you mentioned yesterday, Iceland and other nations like that are getting involved. The UN's finally doing something and saying something, but we are still silent on it. And then this happens, we're silent on this too. I mean, I doubt we're going to see a real response from our State Department or from the Biden regime or anybody else, and the media is not going to cover it here. This will just get
Exactly,
swept under
and
the rug.
thank you, Mark, for elaborating on that. And I agree with you. He said Soleimani deserved every bit of what he got, but Mark is not surprised that they're trying to get some sort of payback. Um, exactly. Why is this video not all over, like, I don't know, every platform? CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, Newsmax. How about that? Like, what is that other
Yeah,
channel called? Help me out.
OAN.
OA. Thank you. Why?
Yeah,
Why
yeah, because
are we not talk? I understand that there's a lot going on inside America that needs to be covered. I get it. But guess what? We've been paying attention so much to the Marxists, we have forgotten about the green side of the red green axis. Look how far they've come. We got 290. There is a single of 219 Muslim representatives and officials in America out there saying what came out of IRGC should be responded to. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You got
and he won't.
219 represented, not represented officials, elected officials who were sworn, I can't say that word, anyways, into the offices by putting their hands on their Quran. But you had McCarthy going in without putting his hand on the Bible. What are we doing, guys? I promise not to get worked up, but it's just impossible.
Oh no. I mean, and it's absolutely disgusting. Like, this should be a leading headline, even if you want to make the argument that it's not the top story today. This should be all over the media because again, this is a foreign nation making a direct threat on elected and bureaucratic leaders here within the country. Some of them who are still currently serving, and they're saying, "We're going to get you. There's going to be vengeance for killing Soleimani, and we're going to determine when that happens." This is again, it's a direct threat from a terrorist nation on leaders that we have within our own nation. And you're not going to hear a peep about it. I mean, I'm sure 95, 97% of the entire country right now has no idea this happened.
No, and that's the thing. Again, not to brag so much, but do you think our audience would know about it if it wasn't for me following IRG, literally putting my neck out, following IRGC Telegram channel, which they can spell my IP address like that,
Yeah.
and grab these videos and bring them up? No.
No. I mean, like, before when you brought up the story last year when they did this, you were the first one that I saw cover it. And then I did see it pop on some other places, Jihad Watch and other places. But still, it's not getting out to like the mainstream. Unless you're somebody that looks for those things, you're not going to see it. Gateway Pundit did put this up eventually. But again, it's been over 24 hours at this point. But you're not going to see it on a Fox News or AP or CNN or anybody else. They'll never mention this unless something happens and they do strike and either attempt to kill or succeed in killing one of these people they've made a threat on.
Well, that's the thing. I remember we're coming up here um, in February. Um, and I can't even believe it.
Yeah,
Third year since our beloved hero and friend Phil Haney was killed. And remember his project's name: National Security Meltdown. National Security Meltdown. If this video is not a matter of national security, what is, Michael? If this is not
nothing.
being discussed by everyone in government, in uh, mainstream media, in alternative media, what? Yeah, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
what
Again,
what
what?
what yeah, what else really constitutes a threat? And here's the thing, it's even worse than that because as you've mentioned many times, they're not even looking for these kind of threats anymore. The word, Islam, terrorism, Islamic terrorism, all these things have been wiped from the training manuals. They don't even look at it. So that tells me we're not even looking for these kind of threats or even anticipating. We're actually training people to turn a blind eye to it, which is just inviting there to be another major successful attack. And we just had a person recently within, was it Homeland Security, say expect an Al Qaeda type attack on U.S. soil within the next however many months.
Uh
So
huh.
there are people on the inside know that they're gearing up for something, and unfortunately, I think they're probably right because it's been several years since a large that scale kind of attack has happened on U.S. soil, and our guard is most certainly down.
Exactly. We have a wonderful question. I was hoping somebody's going to ask this question. Thank you, Karen, for asking it. Why is it that Brazil is all over the news, but Iran is nowhere? Silence, crickets. I'll tell you why. There are two reasons. Number one, what's happening in Brazil is so relatable. What they're fighting for is what we wish we would fight for, but we don't. So we're kind of living through vicariously through that. Number two, no matter how much you cover Brazil's situation here in America, you just do it. 12 bounties on my head for covering Iran.
Yeah,
Apparently, we don't have enough journalists or reporters or politicians who are willing to take bounties on their head to cover. That's the two reason that you hear all about Brazil and nothing about Iran. Because they don't want to put their neck out there physically. They don't want to be killed or targeted. Iran International Media Channel in London is under 24/7 police protection right now in England because of covering the revolution in Iran 24/7. American media don't want to have to do that. They don't. And as I said, what's happening in Iran, we're about 30 years away from being that oppressed. So we can't relate to them. And you know how it is in our culture here in America. If we can't relate to them, it's not our problem. But with what's
yeah.
happening in Brazil, well, we can't relate to. I mean, we're not doing what they're doing. Good for them. We can't claim their bravery, but at least we can claim understanding or relating to them. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, and I actually have another theory with Brazil too. You notice how most of our media here ignored what was going on there until yesterday. Even though the people were marching in the streets, there's again tons of examples of improprieties, let's just say, that went on with their elections there, without getting into detail. That was essentially ignored here by our press. You saw a few little blips about it in blurbs right after the election happened, and then silence, blackout, unless you went and looked for it. Now all of a sudden it's everywhere, and they're already trying to paint this as just another insurrection, the January 8th insurrection of Brazil. So they're trying to again feed it into their own narrative that somehow it's all these right wing extremists around the world. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to have stories on Brazilian white supremacists within the next 20, 30 minutes. But they're already trying to create that narrative, and it feeds into their same overall agenda and their overall message here. We'll
Uh,
see what happens in Brazil, but I'm
Michael,
not real hopeful.
I will still take a negative coverage for Iran and Iranian people over no.
Oh,
I get what you're
absolutely.
saying, but I still prefer forget about people of Iran altogether. We are under direct threat by IRGC. I mean, I don't know. I'm literally
I think honestly, if they were covering the Iranian Revolution here, the same way that you are, if it was covered like that on the mainstream media, people would get behind it because they would understand at the end of the day, even if there's cultural differences and other differences, everybody can relate to the idea of wanting to be free and the abuse that women suffer under across the Middle East. And I think that's why it's kept out of the media. If it was given more attention, I do think people would get behind it. But right now, if you want to know the story, you have to go out of your way to find it. Completely ignored otherwise. I'm sure most people think that after there's probably a lot of people who are aware of what happened initially with Masa Amini, and after that, they think that it just stopped.
yes. But I think you're being overly
Optimistic.
generous. No,
Yeah,
overly generous by saying everybody can relate to wanting to be free. No. Mm, no.
true.
And I'll tell you why, even though we have less than 30 seconds to wrap up with our Lendl TV audience. So let me wrap up here. The statement of everybody can relate to be wanting to free is not accurate because if everybody in America wanted to be free, we wouldn't be sitting back, relaxing, chilling, and doing nothing about everything that we have handed over to our government. On that
Right.
fact, on that fact, looking at Iran, looking at China, looking at Brazil, Italia, Venezuela, France, England, we don't want to be free. We want freedom to be handed to us, which is well, it doesn't exist. Freedom is not something it's handed to you. It's something you fight for. To our Lindell TV audience, thank you so much for staying with us until now. Please stay safe and stay vigilant. Stay involved as much as you can. And we will see you tomorrow for the rest of other platforms. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a very quick break. hear from our sponsor and be back with you.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to announce my new product, My Coffee. I get products all the time from entrepreneurs for my new platform, mystore.com. And when I tried My Coffee for the first time, I was blown away. It is the best coffee I've ever had in my life. I spent the last 4 months doing my due diligence, and this family owned business micromanages every step from the fields to the cup to ensure the best quality coffee you're ever going to have. It starts with the beans that are grown in Honduras. Honduras's volcanic soil and humid climate make the perfect growing conditions for coffee plants, which produce the best beans ever. Then each batch is tested for its aroma, taste, and other aspects to meet the highest standards in the coffee industry. And after that, it goes into production, which is all done right here in the USA. It's like you're getting that small batch specialty coffee, but delivered right to your front door. So go to mystore.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code and you'll get your very own My Coffee for 25% off. You guys all know that I've traveled the country for the past year and a half. I've stayed in hundreds of hotels. I've tried every coffee out there. Well, some of the coffees have that terrible aftertaste, some that leave me jittery, or I get an upset stomach. Well, My Coffee is different. It's the richest, smoothest, best coffee I've ever had. My Coffee comes in a variety of flavors. You get them ground or whole bean. Plus, it's certified organic and non-GMO. I guarantee it'll be the best coffee you've ever had. So go to mystore.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you'll get My Coffee for 25% off. And I'm going to give you deep discounts on all my store products. That's mystore.com. It's my new platform for USA entrepreneurs. Please order now.